Hi, everybody. I have a question for you, Brianna, my granddaughter. Do you know what timeout is?
Yep.
You do?
Yep.
What is that?
It's when you do something bad and you have to go stand in the corner or put your face in the coat rack or something like that. Go sit in your room because you did something bad and you know that you did something bad and now you're getting punished for it. So you need to go think about what you did.
I'll tell you what. Did you know there's a person in the Bible by the name of Jonah that had a 3-day timeout?
3 days? That's a long time. The longest one I remember having was only 15 minutes, but it sure felt like 3 days.
Can you imagine? And you know who put Jonah in timeout?
Who?
God.
Really?
Yes, he didn't do what God wanted him to do. So God says, I'll teach you. You're going to go to timeout. All right. The man in our story today has a book in the Bible, and it's called Jonah. His name is Jonah. And Jonah was a very smart person, and he was able to go and tell others about the way to be saved. He was good about telling people when they were doing wrong and how God wanted them to change their life. And so God, of course, picked Jonah for a job. Jonah,
God?
I have a job for you. You know what I want you to do? I want you to go to the city of Nineveh. It has about 120,000 people. All of the people do bad things. They are very wicked. They lie, they kill, they steal, they say naughty words. They do all kinds of horrible things. And I want them to go to heaven because I love them. Jonah, I really have a job for you to do. I want you to go to Nineveh and talk to the people about changing their ways.
Why would I go talk to those kinds of people? Do you really think they'd listen to what I have to say? I'd probably get killed or hurt really badly if I try to go talk to them about changing what they're doing.
Well, let me tell you what. I will be with you. Do you know what? I'm God and I go with everybody. I will be with you, Jonah. You will not be alone. I will tell you what to say. I will give you the strength to do it. And between the two of us, we are going to change the people in Nineveh.
Well,
all right? Bye. Have a good trip.
I'm not going, God. I'm not going to go to Nineveh. I'm going to run away instead and go on this boat that's going over to a different country in a completely different part of the world.
Oh, no. You are going to say no to God. And Jonah did. He left, he got on a ship, and he headed the opposite direction. While he was on the ship, here was our little kitty. She said, I'm going along. I'm going to eat the mice. Yay. Come on, enjoy. Bye, peekaboo. Okay. While Jonah was on the ship, there was a huge storm.
Oh no! Look at this storm! It's so big! The winds are blowing so fast!
And Jonah was a little frightened. And so was everybody on the boat.
I'm really scared.
All of the sailors are saying, somebody ticked off God. They made God mad. Who would that be?
It wasn't me. I didn't do anything. I'm not running away from God or anything.
Oh, that was a lie. He did lie. And so the sailors on the boat, they played a little game and they found out that Nineveh was the place where Jonah was going. And God told him to go there. And Jonah said, no. And so you know what God did? He said, I will teach Jonah to listen to me. So the people, the sailors on the ship, they tossed Jonah out into the ocean.
Ah!
And out he went. And as soon as Jonah left the ship, the wind and the waves stopped. But God had mercy on Jonah. And while he was floating around and thinking he was going to drown, a great big fish came along. And what did he do? He opened his mouth and he swallowed Jonah. And while Jonah was in the fish, he didn't die. God put him in timeout. He had to stay in the fish for 3 days. Now, Jonah, how's it going in there?
It's kind of creepy in here, but overall it's pretty comfortable. Better than drowning, I guess.
And God took care of you in there?
Yeah. Even though I really didn't deserve it and tried to run away from him and said no to him, he still knew where I was and still loved me and cared for me enough to take care of me, even when I said no and ran away.
Well, do you know what, Jonah? Maybe God has a plan. Are you going to do what God asks you? Are you going to obey God now after 3 days being in this big fish?
Yeah, I guess I'll go to Nineveh now. It's what God wants me to do, so I'll go and do it.
Gee, I wonder how you're getting out of there.
Me too.
All of a sudden, the big fish, opened his mouth and he burped a big burp, and out came Jonah. Hi, Jonah.
Hi.
Well, Jonah, did you learn anything?
Yeah, I learned that I need to do what God wants me to do the first time and not to run away from him. But I learned that even when I mess up and do what I'm not supposed to do, God still loves me and cares enough about me to save my life.
And are you going to tell the people in Nineveh the way to be saved?
Yep.
Are you going to tell them they have to change their ways?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Remember this. You are never alone. God will be with you. Good luck. Bye.
Thank you.
Off he goes. We have a really fun song to sing today. It is about Jonah and the big fish. They call him a whale. All we know is it asks questions and it gives us answers. A lot of repetition, things that we're going to be singing over and over again. So please listen as Brianna and I sing it to you the first time. It's called, Who Did Swallow Jonah? 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 Who did swallow Jonah down? Whale did swallow Jonah. 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 Whale did swallow Jonah down. This was really a fun art project, wasn't it?
It was really fun to make today.
We had such a good time. We didn't know how to make a whale. So we have a balloon here that we blew up nice and big. And then what did we put on him?
We taped on a tail on the very back where you would tie off the balloon. You're just gonna cut a tail out of a cardboard or a piece of brown construction paper and tie it onto the back of the balloon.
Right, that's his fluke. That makes him swim good, right?
Yep.
And, of course, this whale had to see where he was going, and so Brianna decorated all of his face by putting on...
I put on some eyes and a nose and a mouth so that he can have all the senses, and I drew him some fins so that he can also keep swimming and know where he's going.
And this is my favorite part. How did you do that?
I took a bunch of ribbon that Miss Karen had in the basement, and I curled some of it and cut some of it up, so that he can have a water spout, because whales, they have a water spout so that they can, I don't know why they have a water spout, but they have a water spout.
Right? They are not a fish, so they gulp air and then it comes out here. So anyway, it's an interesting thing. Anyway, do you like our big fish? I think you can do it with a balloon and some paper. And this is curling ribbon, but you could use anything you want to make your whale just like you want to. So let's sing our song using our whale and Jonah, shall we?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's Jonah. Who did swallow Jonah? 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 Who did swallow Jonah down? Uh-oh. Whale did, whale did, whale did, whale did, whale did swallow Jonah. Whale did, whale did, whale did, whale did, whale did swallow Jonah. Whale did, whale did, whale did, whale did, whale did swallow Jonah. Whale did swallow Jonah. Whale did swallow Jonah. Whale did swallow Jonah.